The Lord told her not to turn her son in because we need to practice love and forgiveness and cover. And I'm referring to the video I made about religious predators in the family who found his way into my daughter's inbox, knowing that was his family. And so my thing is, we need to keep it in the family. Well, he didn't keep his peen in his pants or his hands to himself. He didn't keep himself out of my daughter's inbox. So therefore he's exposed. And I'm going to tell you what my daughter said and how she addressed them, because apparently the family is speaking up. She said, you know, in this generation, we expose. She's 21. That's what they do. They post things and expose. And so I'm proud of her and I'm proud of her dad. I'll get to that point too. Because, you know, he's even taken some flack because he exposed it, even though, you know, those are people. He exposed it because this is a criminal. And to say that the Lord told you not to turn him in, did the Lord also speak about him being guilty? Did the Lord speak to you about the survivors? Because arrest is biblical. The Jesus you say you serve, he was arrested. It's biblical. And then there was a point that she made where, you know, someone allegedly said, I'm going to say allegedly, said, you know, well, you can't say that just because that's her son and then the auntie, that's her nephew and things like that, that they just have this bond and this alliance because Jesus, you know, God gave up his only son. Well, God gave up his only son. That's what you believe. And he supposedly didn't do anything. You not giving up your son and he did do something wrong. And it's been said, proven, unless you're just not going to believe, more than two hands, counting on two hands, male and female, very, very close to him, that allegedly raped these people. And they're speaking out and saying things and it's getting around, but you can't turn yours in. And I'm referring to this particular lady because she was in my comments when I started this religious trauma, talking about I need to turn to the Lord. And I was like, well, you need to turn your son in, things like that. And then she just requested my daughter to be a friend on Facebook. Oh yeah, it's getting exposed. Let me tell you why. Why? Y'all just don't know my daughter. She was tough in the conversation, I'm telling you. And when you say we need to just keep it in the family, and I'm not just talking about this family, this is all over the world, especially melanated people that are religious, and all this stuff is going on inside the church and inside the families, and let's just keep it in the family. When you say that, you know what else you're keeping in the family? The trauma, the damage that was, you know, that took place amongst the survivors. You're keeping dirty little secrets in the family. When you don't expose it or turn this person in, and with the things that I've heard, that's a mental, that person needs to be locked up both ways. And so when you keep it in the family, what happened, it keeps the trauma, the damage, and that is repeated cycles, because then those that are survivors are going to have kids and pass it down. It could be passed down in different ways. I have no qualms about the things that I'm saying because it goes right along with my religious trauma deconstructing faith series. We don't turn the other cheek over here. We don't subscribe to any of that. A crime has been committed. If I was on here dishing, you know, just family gossip. Oh, girl, yeah, they got married and then they got divorced and then they married, they could. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how this religious person, like churched up, churched down, could not stay out of my comments. Then to find out that her grapist son was in my daughter's comments, and now they just want to hush it up and try to do damage control because it's been posted. And I wasn't the first one to post it. Somebody else posted it. Bottom line is, stop trying to find scriptures and find ways to get around accepting what happened and covering it with love. That's not love. You know what? How is it love? It's love for the person that caused the offense. But what about the love to the survivors? And there were so many, allegedly. And I knew that when I was a part of that family. Where is the love for them? This is just explaining the cognitive dissonance, the mental illness that is amongst melanated people that are church indoctrinated. That's how serious this is, that they can't even see logic or common sense. How do you think we should, how you think it should have been done? How do you think, what do you mean? And my daughter also brought it up. What if it had happened to your daughter and you don't even know if it did? Because, and it's funny how with these videos, I've had maybe one or two men say, you know, don't go there. You sound sus. I'm not saying that you are, But all the other women are like, yeah, speak on it, speak on it. And it wasn't just women that were, or females that was affected, at least especially by this person. It was both. This is a sick individual. Like my ex-husband said, this is a sick individual. And we don't play about ours. You were bold enough to come in her inbox, be bold enough to accept that you're being exposed. I didn't do it. That you're being exposed. Accept that. Be accountable. And have mercy on all of y'all souls. And she told one of those elders in the family that was asking about it, she said, you're part of the problem. Saying, let's love and cover and keep it in the family and don't post it. Y'all from a different generation. And I said, you know, Farrah, it's time for a shakedown in that family. And she said, I'm going to be the earthquake. Said, I'm going to make it rumble. Oh my God. My daughter said he messed with the wrong generation. She's the fourth generation and they just didn't know her. She is a part of me and her dad. And we just don't do that. And like she said, that's just what this generation does. That's what their generation, they do, is they show the receipts, right? Because back in the day, you post a picture of missing person or you know, with some tape and a nail, or this man is wanted or missing dog. Now it's just electronic. It's an electronic version. And he had no business in her inbox, speaking to her the way that he was speaking to her, setting an intent of what he was trying to do. And he got exposed. And like I said, I have to give him his props that, you know, he's even taking flack from his family and he's standing up for what's right. And my daughter called it. She said there's a spirit of perversion and incest in the family. And I know it's happened in a lot of families, but particularly what's so important about this is that everybody in the family is churched in, churched out, churched up, churched down, church, religious, and not wanting to hold this person accountable, but wants to just love and forgive. What about the survivors? What about how their lives have unfolded? How they have to, you know, work through all of that, but we just gonna love and keep it in the family. Well, if he would have kept it in his pants and kept his hands to himself, there would be nothing to have to hide. Your scripture also tells you to obey the laws of the land. And my daughter, she caught it quick. You tried to groom her and she caught that real quick and exposed that. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case for other people. And nowadays, and then my daughter said, y'all post church flyers so that you can get exposure, so that people can come to, you know, y'all's church. But then we want to post this, you know, to get exposure so that other people can be protected, because my daughter's 21. This person, I'm sure, is in their 50s and still at it. And then my daughter brought this up. I'm telling y'all, she's something else, a chip off the old block. She said, because you did not hold him accountable and he was free to keep doing it over and over, that damns him even more. And that's on the mother and all the people that knew about it. And Farrah, my daughter, she's the fourth generation. And you still at it and trying to go for it? But they just want to keep it in the family and keep it. Yes, there should be private matters that are kept in the family, but we're talking about a criminal. We're talking about criminal activity. We're not talking about family drama or family gossip. She borrowed money from me and didn't pay it back. We're not talking about that. And I know jail is scary and it's hard to do that. And if that's your only son and things like that, but it was scary for the survivors. I'm striving not to say victim because that's not what they are. And it was difficult for them to deal with that at young ages. And here's the thing, over the conversation that I heard, all I heard about was protecting the family name, because everybody, Jesus. But nobody talked about the survivors. Nobody's asking what about them and what they had to go through and how are them. And dare this person ask, well, why didn't they say anything? Let's not go there. And what's weird is how my daughter is 21 years old and she's, you know, related to the family through our marriage, me and my ex-husband, but she's standing up and fighting for the survivors more than the actual blood family members that are related to this person. Y'all are not okay. And it's not okay. What is happening, what has happened is not okay. She's standing up and I'm standing up, seems like more so for them. And that's not even my family anymore. Because what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And covering it up with God and love and forgiveness. Then they said, we just need to be praying for him. Just pray for him. You can pray for him behind bars. He can be behind bars and get prayed for. Because the stuff that happened was years ago, decades ago. And here you are in 2024 saying the inappropriate things. You can pray for somebody and you can love them behind bars. You can do that. They can possibly get some help behind bars. And even if they don't, you can still pray for them behind bars. Your prayers should still reach there. And it obviously ain't been working all this time because he's still at it. So bump your prayers. Let the law do what the law does. And it says to obey the laws of the land. So y'all are ignoring that because you want to protect the name or just behind this foolishness, you know, family, we got to be a strong unit. And like my daughter said, you just messed with the wrong generation. She's the fourth generation and he came at the wrong one. And she's my daughter. Like my daughter said, and just a reminder, saying let's keep it in the family, it's not a family affair. It's a criminal affair.